This video is sponsored by Rocket Money, but more on them later. Why are there so many pieces of lost media? That's a great question, Kermit. Why are there so many pieces of lost media? That's right, it's Lost Media Monster here back because I love lost media. And with the help of my good media-obsessed pal Shishigumi, it's time for us to dive deep into Muppets Lost Media. Jim Henson Lost Media, and there's so much of it. It makes me sad. Hey, Shish, say hi to everyone in the video. We're in the Muppets Lost Media episode right now.
Oh my God. Hello, everybody.
We're gonna do a podcast crossover.
Yes.
Shish, thank you for helping me assemble all of this Muppet Lost Media. Can you tell me why you think there is so much Muppet Lost Media? Why is this list so long?
I think Jim Henson was just a guy who just had so many things going on at once, and even the projects that he wasn't a part of and he didn't have his involvement in directly, like all of his other people that he knew, family, friends, everybody, they were all just so talented.
2008, The Muppet Experiment. The late 2000s saw big changes at Disneyland's California Adventure. New lands were under construction, and rumors were that a Cars Land was coming to the park. Well, to investigate all these mysterious changes, Dr. Hunson Bunnydew, that's not his name, Dr. Bunsen Honeydew built a time machine that sent the Muppets rocketing through space and time. Does anyone remember this? This lost augmented reality game that took over Disneyland's California Adventure in 2008. This was wild. There was a special website built, the MuppetExperiment.com, that hosted puzzles and clues that slowly led you to finding the gang and getting a real-world letter from one of the Muppets after completing the experience. The letter was complete with a map of the future park that showed concept art for the oncoming Cars Land experience. Now, most, if not all, of this is lost. There are some of the letters still out there in the wild, but the website is long gone, not even, I think, backed up by the Wayback Machine. This is just a completely lost online Muppets video game that just poof, disappeared after the renovations of California Adventure were complete. It's wild. Just look at how crazy in depth some of these screenshots are and some of these games are. They had a Ralph music game. They kind of had a Muppets lab with all kind of weird experiments. They had an interactive Google map that you could trace locations of Muppets live using real Google Maps. Some really, really cool mini games loaded with a bunch of Muppets lore and Disney California Adventure lore. This was great. It was a great tie-in because the Muppets were in the park with MuppeTVision 3D at Disney California Adventure. So it just kind of made sense. The Muppets do so good in the parks. Some of the best Muppet stuff comes from their time in the parks, and it makes me sad that this is lost. I'm saving up for my Asia theme park trip, and I really want to get on top of my expenses. And thankfully, today's video sponsor is here to help, Rocket Money. Rocket Money is an all-in-one personal finance app that helps you cancel subscriptions, lower bills, and manage money better. I love using Rocket Money to cancel subscriptions. I'm way too neurodivergent to stay on top of stuff like this. This is my kryptonite, so Rocket Money really helps. Once you connect your bank account, Rocket Money identifies all of your subscriptions in a single list. From there, you can select the ones you don't want anymore, and Rocket Money may be able to help you cancel in just a few taps. I love it. Just a few taps? I love tapping. I love tapping a few times. What an insane thing to say.
It's beautiful, man. Beautiful.
To save more and spend less, join the over 5 million members using Rocket Money today. Go to rocketmoney.com/DisneyDan or click the link in the description to get started for free. 2002, Snoop Dogg's Lost Muppet Scene. A very Muppet Christmas movie. I love it. It's great. It's that one where Whoopi Goldberg is God and Kermit has a David Arquette It's a Wonderful Life type breakdown. It's a weird era from the direct to DVD Muppet movies, but I like it. I love Muppet Christmas movies, and this one's up there. I really like it. Now, this movie infamously has a famous scene that was lost featuring Snoop Dogg of all people. Snoop Dogg hanging out with Electric Mayhem, right? Of course, that makes sense. The scene featured Floyd Pepper asking something along the lines of, did you ever think that maybe the whole world is like a molecule on the big toe of some giant in the cosmos? To which Snoop Dogg replies with like a long ramble of like, for shizzle and my nizzle, all kinds of rizzly dizzles. You know, I don't know. The scene is, no one has seen the scene. We just have recountings of what happened. What I love about this is after the long Snoop Dogg rizzle dizzle bit, Zoot comes in and he's like, man, that's the first thing I understood around here in 30 years. I love Electric Mayhem. They are truly a treat. Now, they say the scene was cut for time. That was what the public was told. That was, of course, until Kermit the Frog did a guest spot on the Craig Kilborn show, in which he revealed the real reason why the Snoop Dogg scene was cut. And I can't, it's so crazy to hear Kermit say this.
Snoop came along to do our movie about the time he was like quitting drugs. Yeah. Unfortunately, he was starting. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Snoop Dogg also then infamously went onto YouTube and like gave a whole retort to the Muppets that is so like laden with foul language that I can't even begin to show it to you without like fear of being demonetized, because it's inappropriate. We can't. This is a family friendly channel. We just heard Kermit say the P word. That's about as far as we can go. 2006, Muppets Ahoy! This is a fun one. I really love this. Did you know that there was a Muppet cruise musical on the Disney Cruise Lines back in the 2000s? That's right, there was. The mid-2000s was the best time to be a Disney Cruise fan and a Muppets fan at the same time, because The Wonder rolled out a very unique live show that featured real Muppets. It's a real Muppet musical for its like 7+ day sailings. And the show featured live Muppet performers, including Victor Yared, Drew Massey, and John Kennedy. So this wasn't just like some ragtag group of cast members they threw together. These were like real Muppet performers that they brought in to like do the characters. And I hear even Steve Whitmire did one of the performances for like the recording to maintain like Kermit integrity for like, you know, the in-show, like, you know how like you can watch the shows from in your room on the cruises, like that kind of thing, the pro shot. Thank God for pro shots, because it's how I get so many great clips of all the cruise musicals. So shout out to the pro shot team. And now, unfortunately, there is no pro shot of this that has existed. I reached out and apparently the cruise line archives didn't start until like 2010 or so. So like all of this Muppet show is lost, but it's kind of cool because the Muppets would join on stage to interact with a bunch of pre-recorded segments and live character bits, such as like a large clown Pavarotti man who was like in a big fat suit that would do backflips. You had Statler and Waldorf in the boxes in the audience heckling the gang. Miss Piggy constantly checks in from her room where she's enjoying her 24-hour room service and does not want to leave until she finally does leave, and then trips and falls down a trap door in the middle of the stage, kind of prematurely ending the show. This is great. The show ran for a couple of years, but ultimately got retired, and there are no recordings of it. It's just gone. It's lost. There's like 2 pictures, I think. If you have some recordings of it, please send it in. Let me know. Go to thedisneydan.com and connect with me, because I really want to see this. Now, here's a fun fact for all you Muppet fans out there. Now, there is a thing on the Disney Cruise called the Midship Detective Agency, and there is a Muppets Midship Detective Agency mission called The Case of the Stolen Show that essentially is an Easter egg about the Lost musical from The Wonder, and I believe it also then went to like the Fantasy. The Lost Show, it's props from the Lost Show that like need to be located. So it's kind of cool. The Case of the Stolen Show has a little bit of a tie-in to the Muppet musical that ultimately was also lost. Stolen to time. No one knows. 2000s MuppeTOONS, digital puppets. When you look at it, it almost feels like a video game graphic, but it's not. These were actually pre-recorded segments with Muppet performers that were on a special website that you could watch exclusively with the Pulse player, which you could see on all the screenshots. There's like Pulse. It was this weird partnership between like some kind of plug-in player and the Henson company to use the Waldo. Now, Waldo isn't just the 3D character from MuppeTVision 3D, it's also the name of the digital puppetry tool that puppeteers use to capture, the physical world into the digital world. And so the Waldo was used for all of these and motion capture, just a lot of early Henson physical puppetry, digital conversion technology, which is very cool. A lot of which went on to make Sid the Science Kid, which is a very popular PBS show. And then also Splash and Bubbles, another popular show that uses the Henson digital technology department. So this is cool. They're all gone, they're all lost, but we do have some records of a few of them, so I kind of dig this. There's one called Kermambo, where I guess there's a faulty server on the site, and so you get to just control Kermit doing the mambo. There's one called The Stream, in which Bunsen tries to teleport Beaker to Paris, I guess, but he accidentally gets stuck digitally into the Louvre's website and begins appearing in all the art, which is kind of wild. And then there's another one called Net Congestion that I found out about that has Fozzie making his internet debut only for Statler and Waldorf to catch a bug from the net, giving them congestion, thus the pun Net Congestion. Because, you know, internet traffic sometimes, you've all seen The Matrix, you get it, like, you know, there's portals and there's, you know, congestion and, you know, it's like dial-up internet, but cool Muppets, cool early 2000s internet Muppet puns. They're all lost. If you have it recorded, my gosh, I would love to see Kermit doing the mambo, but this is something else, truly something else. 2005 Lost Fraggles movie. After multiple Muppet movies, Sesame Street movies, heck, even like standalone films like Kermit's origin story Swamp Years, it was inevitable that the Fraggles would get their own film. And plans started to develop in 2005 alongside the news of the Jason Segel Muppet movie that was very popular and just was like, everyone loved that thing, but ultimately, the Fraggle plans just became this unfulfilled tease of a movie that never saw the light of day. The goal was to take the Fraggles into outer space, where, you know, Uncle Traveling Matt goes, to have the Fraggles interact with the real world at large, and the writer of this project was working on this for a while, from like 2005 to 2011, under, unfortunately, the Weinstein Company. Yikes. But their script, come like 2011, wasn't edgy enough, wasn't like cool enough, so it caused the Weinsteins to just lose the deal entirely, and then New Regency came in and picked up the rights in 2011 and began working on a new script, like directly with Brian Henson. And as late as 2015, there was news, but then the trail kind of went cold. And it makes me wonder if sort of the hype of this Muppet movie, the adventures, the concepts of the Fraggles would ultimately materialize as the Apple Plus Fraggles Back to the Rock show. Even though it wasn't necessarily an outer space exploration show, the Fraggles still continued to live on. You know, they continued to push through. But this movie, all of this movie with concepts and scripts and art, all of it is just lost. It's gone. What happened? Where is it? The world will never know. We'll never know. 1991 MuppeTVision opening ceremony. Now, we're all mourning the downfall of MuppeTVision in the parks. Disneyland kicked it out a while ago, and now Disney World's kicking it out too. But there was a glorious day where we celebrated MuppeTVision in 1991 when it opened its doors for the first time at MGM Studios. A celebration unlike any other, larger than life, featuring all the walk-around Muppet characters and even Disney characters dressed in their formal wear. This was quite the celebration it was a must-attend kind of thing. There's only like 2 photos that exist from it, from a now defunct Disney like Parks blog post that's since like not even been archived. It's like deleted off the face of the earth. But there are 2 photos, and you can see a bunch of Disney characters with Kermit and Piggy ready to launch some fireworks. And the other photo clearly has the Electric Mayhem like on their performance float. Like you can see they're on a float with like with a whole band setup. So like, you know, these Disney character walk around Muppets were being used in the parks up to this point for live shows, like out on the street. So it's kind of cool that they wrapped them up into the opening of MuppeTVision, but only 2 pictures, guys? Where is the fancy opening ceremony video from this? Where was the special? Where was the what's going on? Where was it? And then years later, when they opened it up in California, there was another ceremony that's also like partially lost that featured actual Muppet puppets with Bunsen and Honeydew like making some kind of experiment that goes awry, and Kermit was there. No fun walk-arounds there, so not as interesting, but still, MuppeTVision opening ceremonies. It would be incredible to see this iconic moment turn up for us all to like, you know, really remember it and mourn it properly. So hopefully we can find it before it goes defunct or after it goes defunct. Whenever you're watching this, if you have it, still contact me, let me know. 2006, America's Next Muppet. Shortly after the Muppets were purchased by Disney in 2004, a parody reality television Muppet pilot was shot and pitched to ABC for the 2006 2007 season. This show was called America's Next Muppet. It was a panel judge type show that brought in a fresh cast of new Muppet characters never seen before, and Kermit, Fozzie, Piggy, the whole gang would judge them, you know, America's Next Top Model style. It was meant to be a 5-episode miniseries. The pilot was picked up. It was even reported on for ABC's 2006 season. Like, it was announced even. So we know that it was like greenlit, but then suddenly it was canceled and it was all like just put away. The pilot has never been seen. The other 4 episodes weren't made. I guess the idea of a new Muppet joining the gang would be explored in the 2011 Muppet movie. So who knows, but I'd love to see the pilot. I would have loved to see it. I just want to see, like, you know, retired Muppet jokes and stuff, things that we've just never seen. Tragedy, tragic. 1984, the Fraggles Lost video game. I love Muppet video games. There's so many of them. There have been like a wild variety of them through the years. Like there's like a Muppet Monster one, Muppet Racing, there's Muppet like Game Boy games, there's Muppet computer games. I love Muppet games. And this one kind of feels like the biggest bummer because in 1984, Fraggle Rock had a computer game in development for kids meant to be sort of this like pseudo educational, you play it in school, play it at home, but like still super fun Fraggle game developed by CBS Software. The game was promised to be released in 1985, which ultimately was the same year that Super Mario came out. So if you want like an idea of graphics and kind of like the quality of the game we would have got, it would have been like a vintage 2D scroller Fraggle kind of game. So who knows what it was, but still quite prolific that the 80s were so cool, they almost gave us a Fraggle video game. R.I.P. Fraggle video game. Man, how cool would that have been? A huge thanks to Shishigumi, my Lost Media pal in crime, for helping me put together this episode. You gotta go over and check out Shishigumi's projects, including Lost Media Buster and his new YouTube channel. Shishigumi's got a page. He's gonna start making videos. Good on you, Shish. And also, special thanks to Scribbles to Screens, who's making a Muppets iceberg of Lost Media and like Lost projects that we kind of all work together to pick some fun stories. This could just be part 1. There could be a part 2, so you gotta let us know in the comments. Shishigumi and I, like you saw in this episode, did a whole podcast on Muppet Lost Media with Scribbles to Screen. You saw a couple clips in the episode, and so now come on over to Fun's YouTube channel or podcast streaming wherever you listen to podcasts and listen to the whole chat, plus lots of other podcast chats that I've had. Special thanks out there to all of my Patreons for keeping the channel alive and supporting me. Shout out to all of you awesome Laugh Packers and Dapper Dans. You're all amazing. Thank you so much. You're the best, guys. You're absolutely the best. There you go. There's some Muppet Lost Media. Let me know if you guys know of some other Jim Henson Lost Media that's out there that you want me to talk about in the future, or if you find any of this Lost Media, head on over to thedisneydan.com and submit the Lost Media. Like, tell me, let me know. I want to find this stuff. I want to see it. I'm a legit Muppet fan, all right? I'm not snoozing on this. You know, like give me some Muppet Lost Media, baby. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, you rock. Why are there so many pieces of Lost Media? Where are the DVDs? Someday we'll find it. Jim Henson Lost Media, the lovers, the dreamers, and Shishigumi and me.